So hello everybody, and today I just want to talk a little bit about balance. So balance is incredibly important for everybody. It's important for everyday life. It's important for older people particularly who fall a lot due to poor balance or fear of falling. And it's important obviously for runners. So runners are constantly shifting their weight from one leg to the other leg, and they need to be able to stabilise themselves quickly as they do that. Now if their structure is unbalanced for whatever reason, as soon as they hit the ground, they're going to not have that stability, and that will cost them in terms of time and efficiency and potential injury risk. Okay, so first we're just going to work through a series of drills to improve our balance, and we're going to first work on it in a static standing position, and then we're just going to take that into some movement. Okay, so first of all, really simple, just going to stand on the left leg, just hold the right leg in the air, so we get used to balancing on one leg. And then we do the same on the other leg, and just see, is it different, is it easier on one leg than the other? For me it's definitely harder on the right leg, I can feel that already. Go back to the left again. Some of the principles of balance, just as we go through these drills, principles are basically you need to be as upright as you can. You need to have your skull and your pelvis on top of your standing leg. So if your head's over to one side, it's going to affect your balance considerably. If your head's forward, it's going to tip you forwards, and all the possible variations in between. So really important to have a stable or a balanced structure to be able to align the head with the pelvis with the foot. The head is incredibly heavy, so if the head is not aligned properly, that will throw everything off. And a lot of people with their head to one side, they won't be able to balance very comfortably. So think about your head position. Is your head aligned on top of your foot? Another important principle is to be able to relax and keep your eyes on the horizon, which is the same thing as keeping your head well aligned, I guess. So big toe needs to stay down. It's a key component of balance. And you also need to be able to relax as much as possible. So I'm just going from one leg to the other leg. Just getting used to being on one leg. Obviously, if you're barefoot or minimalist, you're going to feel the ground an awful lot better and be able to balance better than if you've got big, heavy, built-up shoes, stilts. So these exercises are best done either barefoot or with socks. Barefoot is best, but I'm just wearing socks because the floor is incredibly cold here at the moment. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to stand on the right leg, we're going to lift the left leg, foot flat rather than toe pointed, and then we're going to put the opposite arm out in front, and just hold that position. Some of you might not be able to get further than about there, that's fine. Some of you may not even be able to manage this position at all, so for those people just stay on one leg. If that's all you can manage, just balance on one leg, and then switch it across to the other side. Again, notice, is there any difference when you do that? Ideally we're looking for about 90 degrees here. Okay, 90 degrees with a straight with a back foot rather than a pointed toe. And relax. And then we're just going to take that a step further again by just getting to the same position and then just introducing the swinging arm and leg into that as well. It's more like, I guess, a running specific movement. Don't forget, when you're running, you're always on either one leg or no legs. You've never got both feet on the ground. Change legs, save again. So it's really important actually, to be able to be stable when we hit the ground. Okay, so moving on from there, we might think about various movements we can do working around that standing leg. So first of all, I'm just going to stand on the left leg and just bring the right leg across from side to side. And then still on that left leg, I'm just going to do some circles in and out. Okay. Don't try and rush these. The more you rush them, the more control you'll lose. Same on the right leg now, so we're going to go across from side to side. And then again, we're going to do circles both ways. Out and in. Out and in. Okay. And then we go back to the left leg. We're going to join those two movements up. So we go cross, out and in, cross, out and in. One last time, cross, out and in. And then back onto the right leg again. Same scenario, we're going to go cross, out, in, cross, out, in, cross, out, and in. One more time. See, I'm nowhere near as stable on the right side. Just relax, and some of you will find that straight away your glutes have to work quite hard to keep you stable as you move through that movement. So obviously, glutes are incredibly important in being able to get stable and balanced, but that also depends on the big toe being able to be active with the ground. If the big toe is not able to stay down, then you won't get that same activation. Okay, so moving on from there, we might do some more kind of upper body movement with that as well. So standing on one leg. And you can do this with weight as well if you like. You might do some front raises, do a few with the right arm, do a few with the left arm. Might do side raise. Both sides. You can have some light dumbbells to start with, and you can build up your strength as you do that. Let's go overhead. And you do this with a tin of beans or something if you prefer, if that's what you've got in your house. Okay, so you're doing all the different arm movements you can think of on one leg. So we go across, side to side. That will challenge your balance a lot more. You see rotation. I can feel my ankle having to work overtime to control that rotation. Okay, so that was on the left leg. Going to do the same on the right leg. So we can do some front raises. So if you've got some light dumbbells or tins in your house, then it's a great way to build strength whilst you're in lockdown, building in a very balanced, functional way, rather than just standing with both feet on the ground. You get a lot more bang for your buck out of the exercise by doing it on one leg. You won't be able to lift anything like as heavy a weight, but you'll be doing yourself a lot more good. And then across. Oh, this is going to be hard for me on my right leg. But my ankle is not feeling that as much on my right leg as on my left. Okay, so you can play around with all those movements and many, many more. So we could go back onto the left leg again. We could do this kind of movement, where where we don't actually put the foot down. You might find that you need to put the foot down because your balance is so bad, so you might just touch the toe down in that case. As you get more confident, you should be able to get more and more range as far as it's slippery. Excuses. Okay, and then back onto the other leg again. Well, this will be harder for me, I know this, because that leg shape is slightly different. But there's only one way to improve it, and that's to do focused exercise on it. It's movement one. Really feel that glue starting to fire. That's a lot more than if you were just touching it to the ground each time. Okay, so from there we can move into some side steps. Okay, so stepping to the side. So as we're running or walking, we're actually shifting our weight from one side to the other side. Okay, and it's important that we are able to get stable each time. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to start over on the left here, and I'm just going to side step to the right, keep my leg up for a few seconds, then put it down, side step again, hold it for a few seconds, put it down. And this is particularly where you need to be aware of where your head is, because if my head's over there, that's going to be difficult. I need to make sure my head stays over the standing leg. Oh, lost it on that one. Worried about falling into these. Let's go back the other way. And just notice, is it easier to go to the left and get stable, or is it easier to go to the right? For me, it's easier to go left, simply because my head wants to stay slightly left anyway. I'm aware of that. So when I go right, I have to make sure I don't leave the head over to the left. Okay. It's really important to keep the big toe down on that. So from there we could go to, excuse me, we could go to a diagonal step, which I guess is more like running or walking, and then we could do diagonal step back. Diagonal step forward. Just try to get stable, hold it for a second or two, then put the foot down. And we could do all those exercises with the arms in different positions as well, just to challenge that a little bit more. So arms overhead. How long can you hold it stable before you have to put the foot down? Maybe it's easy, maybe it's not. And then backwards with the arm overhead. Okay, and then from there you could just take that into jumping to one side, get stable. Not putting the foot down at all this time. I'm just jumping from side to side, holding it, getting stable. And then go backwards, diagonally, jumping. Not easy at all, as you can see. So you can gradually add more and more challenge into that one. You can go in different directions, go backwards and forwards. You can obviously do jumps from side to side as well if you want to. Jump to one side, try to get stable. Jump to the other side, try to get stable. And you could just play around with this as much as you like, really. Okay, so all of those things. What more is there to say about balance? Well, there's quite a lot probably, but I think that's enough for today. So a short balance session balance incredibly important. Of course, your ability to balance will also come down to your standing posture, how you like to hold yourself in space. So if you habitually stand like this, you might have trouble, especially trying to balance on the right side because all your weight's on this side. So it may well be you try to get over to there, but you can't balance. So it's really important that you have a symmetrical balance structure, which will be evident from your static posture. So if you're not sure whether your structure is balanced when you're standing, and none of us are actually very aware of how we hold ourselves in space, but you see it's incredibly important. So if you would like to send me a picture of yourself from behind, showing your whole body, then I can pretty well quickly tell you whether there's any obvious asymmetries from side to side. You'll probably be able to see it yourself, but you won't know otherwise. So feel free to do that. But for now, that's Dave signing off at Rose to Freedom and wishing you a very balanced day and a balanced life throughout this coronavirus pandemic. Thank you. Bye.